Did you know that getting up to go to the bathroom at night can be dangerous? Most people don't think much about their nighttime habits. But as we age, a small mistake can increase the risk of falls, heart problems, and other medical emergencies. But don't worry, this video will save your life. One of the most dangerous habits that older adults can develop is getting out of bed too quickly after waking up. As we get older, our body's ability to regulate blood pressure becomes less effective. This makes older adults more prone to a condition known as orthostatic hypotension, a sudden drop in blood pressure when moving from a lying position to standing. When this happens, the brain doesn't receive enough oxygen for a few minutes, causing dizziness, blurred vision, or even fainting. The problem here is that these symptoms don't always happen right away. Many people stand up, feel fine for a few seconds, and then suddenly, their legs weaken, their vision fades, and they collapse. For older adults, this can be disastrous. A fall in the middle of the night can lead to broken bones, head injuries, or worse. In fact, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, falls are the leading cause of injury-related death among adults aged 65 and older. And more than 3 million older adults visit the emergency room each year due to fall-related injuries. Now, meet David, a 75-year-old man who's always been independent and never thought much about his nighttime habits. One night, as usual, David woke up, swung his legs over the side of the bed, and stood up quickly. In just a moment, his vision blurred, his knees buckled, and everything went dark. David collapsed against his nightstand. When he regained consciousness, David felt disoriented, in pain, and unable to move for a few minutes. Later, he learned that a sudden drop in blood pressure had caused him to faint. Fortunately, he was lucky not to suffer a serious head injury or broken bones. The key to preventing this type of fall is simple, and here's what you can do. When you wake up, don't jump out of bed immediately. Instead, stay lying down for a few seconds and take some deep breaths to give your body time to adjust. Then slowly shift to a sitting position and rest there for a little longer. When you feel steady, place both feet firmly on the floor. And, if possible, use a stable surface such as the edge of the bed or a nightstand to support yourself as you stand up. If you often feel unsteady when getting up, be sure to review your medications. Certain drugs, such as blood pressure medications, diuretics, and some sleep aids, can make dizziness worse. And don't forget to keep a nightlight on to ensure you can see where you're going. Comment number 1 below if you are determined to make small adjustments when getting out of bed to prevent falls. Next, we'll talk about a habit that almost everyone falls into without realizing the risks. Staying properly hydrated is important, but drinking too much water at night can actually harm your health. As we age, our body's ability to process fluids becomes less efficient. This means drinking a large amount of water in the evening can overwhelm your bladder, forcing you to wake up multiple times during the night to use the bathroom. This condition is known as nocturia, and it's very common among older adults. But nocturia doesn't just interrupt your sleep. Research shows that waking up frequently at night weakens your immune system, puts stress on your heart, and can even speed up cognitive decline. And the danger doesn't stop there. When you wake up feeling groggy, your body's coordination isn't fully alert. Combine that with dim lighting or the urgent need to reach the bathroom, and your risk of falling becomes significantly higher. In fact, According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than 1/3 of adults over the age of 65 experience a fall each year, and many of these incidents occur at night when vision is impaired and the body is less stable. Let me tell you about Richard. At 73 years old, he was always mindful of his water intake. He believed that drinking a full glass of water before bed was part of a healthy routine. But over time, he found himself waking up more frequently during the night to use the bathroom. One night, while rushing to the restroom, Richard tripped over the edge of a doorway and fell, breaking his hip. Later, his doctor recommended a smarter hydration routine to reduce nighttime bathroom trips and minimize his risk of future falls. The solution isn't to stop drinking water entirely, but rather to focus on timing and balance. Instead of drinking a lot of water in the evening, focus on drinking more water in the morning, afternoon, and try to drink less water in the last 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. If you still feel thirsty before going to bed, take small sips instead of a full glass of water. Also, avoid caffeinated or alcoholic drinks before going to bed because they have a diuretic effect and make nighttime urination more frequent. If this is something you already practice, or if you are about to start trying, let me know in comment number 2 below. And get ready, because next, we are going to talk about a habit that increases the risk of heart problems and stroke. When your body feels cold, it reacts by narrowing your blood vessels in a process called vasoconstriction. This helps retain body heat. But for older adults with heart conditions, it forces the heart to work harder to pump blood through these narrowed vessels. This increased strain raises the risk of high blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, or even a heart attack during sleep. Cold temperatures can also make your blood slightly thicker, increasing the chances of blood clots, which raises the risk of stroke and heart strain. According to the American Heart Association, colder environments can increase the risk of heart attacks, especially for people over the age of 65. And it's not just your heart that's at risk. Cold, dry air can weaken your immune system. Your body has to work harder to maintain a stable internal temperature, which can slow down immune function. As a result, older adults who regularly sleep in cold rooms are more vulnerable to colds, the flu, and respiratory infections. On top of that, breathing cold air at night can dry out your nasal passages, leading to congestion, sinus discomfort, and nighttime coughing. Over time, this can affect your breathing patterns and reduce your sleep quality. Even mild exposure to chilly temperatures night after night can gradually affect your cardiovascular system, increasing the risk of unexpected complications over time. Take Charles, for example. At 77 years old, he enjoyed sleeping in a cool room and often lowered the thermostat before going to bed. Over time, he began waking up with stiff joints, mild headaches, and uncomfortable chest tightness. Then, one cold winter night, his chest felt heavy and he couldn't breathe. The doctor explained that Charles's heart condition, combined with the cold sleeping environment, was putting too much pressure on his cardiovascular system. By turning up the heat a little and adding extra blankets, Charles found his symptoms improved significantly, and he woke up feeling more rested and energized. To minimize these risks, it's crucial to maintain a warm and stable room temperature. Experts recommend setting your bedroom temperature between approximately 65 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit, a comfortable range that allows you to sleep soundly without feeling too cold. Instead of drastically lowering the thermostat, focus on adding extra layers like warm blankets for insulation. Wear thermal sleepwear or warm socks to help maintain your body temperature. And if you often have cold feet, place a bottle of warm water near your feet. Using a humidifier can also add moisture to the air, helping to prevent irritation in your sinuses, throat, and lungs. Lastly, be sure to position your bed away from windows or air vents, as they can blow cold drafts directly onto you. By making these small adjustments, you can make a big difference in protecting your heart and ensuring a safer, more restful night's sleep. Next, we'll discuss an even more dangerous risk, because the warning signs are often overlooked. But before we get into that, I have a 10-second request for everyone listening. If you'd like to support me in any way, just tap the notification bell and hit the subscribe button. It makes a huge difference. It really helps this channel grow. And if you do that for me, I promise my team, and I will do everything we can to make this show even better for you. Do we have a deal? One of the most dangerous mistakes that older adults can make at night is ignoring chest discomfort or shortness of breath. The truth is, those subtle sensations can be warning signs that your heart is in serious trouble. Ignoring them, even for just a few hours, can mean the difference between life and death. As we age, the signs of a heart attack or stroke can become less obvious, making them easier to overlook. Instead of sudden, intense pain, a heart attack may start with a dull ache in the chest, a feeling of fullness, pressure, or tightness, sometimes mistaken for indigestion, shortness of breath, even while resting, unexplained fatigue, or an unusual feeling of tiredness, nausea, dizziness, or cold sweats. These mild symptoms may seem harmless at first, but they can quickly become serious. For example, shortness of breath often indicates that your heart isn't pumping blood effectively, which can cause fluid to build up in your lungs, making it harder to breathe. Heart attacks and strokes are more likely to occur in the middle of the night and early morning, when the body's natural defenses are weakest. According to the American Heart Association, cardiovascular events commonly occur between midnight and early morning due to natural changes in hormone levels and blood pressure while we sleep. During these hours, the heart has to work harder, and if there's an underlying problem like blocked arteries or high blood pressure, that added strain can trigger a serious event. Take Edward, for example. At 73 years old, Edward occasionally felt chest discomfort at night. But since it wasn't sharp or intense, he assumed it was just acid reflux. One evening, Edward felt a little short of breath, but it wasn't too bad. So he decided to drink some water and go back to bed. The next morning, Edward collapsed as he got out of bed. His family later learned that Edward had suffered a mild heart attack during the night. If Edward had called emergency services that night, doctors might have been able to prevent the worst from happening. If you feel chest pressure, tightness, or discomfort, even if it's mild, take it seriously. In addition to chest discomfort, watch out for these common signs of a heart attack or stroke: shortness of breath, especially when it occurs while resting, dizziness or feeling lightheaded, cold sweats or unexplained sweating, nausea or stomach discomfort, discomfort that spreads to your neck, shoulders, or arms. If you experience any of these symptoms at night, no matter how mild, seek medical help immediately. Don't assume it will go away by morning. Acting quickly can be life-saving. Additionally, consider keeping a list of your medications, medical conditions, and emergency contact numbers beside your bed. If symptoms arise in the middle of the night, this information could save your life. Your body knows when something isn't right, and those warning signs are its way of asking for help. Chest discomfort, tightness, or shortness of breath, even if mild, should never be ignored. If you found this helpful, leave a comment below with the number 4 to let me know you're here. And if you've ever experienced these symptoms, I'd love to hear how you've been working to improve. Your story could inspire others. And stay tuned, because the best advice is still ahead. For older adults, enjoying a late-night snack or having a heavy dinner before bedtime can have serious health consequences. As we age, our body's ability to digest food efficiently slows down. This means eating a large meal, especially close to bedtime, forces your digestive system to work overtime at a time when your body is naturally trying to relax and recover. This can lead to discomfort, poor sleep quality, and even dangerous complications over time. One of the most immediate risks of eating a heavy meal before bedtime is acid reflux. When you lie down with a full stomach, stomach acid can easily flow back into the esophagus. This causes heartburn, chest discomfort, and sometimes coughing or throat irritation. Over time, repeated exposure to acid can damage the esophagus, increasing the risk of inflammation, ulcers, and even esophageal cancer. But acid reflux isn't the only concern. Eating large meals late at night can also place unnecessary strain on the heart and circulatory system. Digesting a heavy meal requires your body to send extra blood to the stomach. For older adults, especially those with heart conditions, this can temporarily reduce blood flow to other vital organs. This added strain may cause dizziness, lightheadedness, or even trigger an irregular heartbeat. Over time, this increased stress can raise the risk of heart failure or other cardiovascular problems. Another serious, yet often overlooked danger is silent aspiration and aspiration pneumonia. This is one of the most dangerous and underestimated risks. Silent aspiration occurs when small amounts of food or stomach acid accidentally enter the airway instead of going down the digestive tract. This condition is especially common in older adults with weakened swallowing reflexes or those who experience acid reflux. Repeated episodes of aspiration can irritate the lungs, leading to infection and, in severe cases, life-threatening aspiration pneumonia. Take Gerald as an example. At 73 years old, Gerald always enjoyed a hearty dinner, and because of his unpredictable schedule, he often ate late at night. One evening, after finishing a large dinner, Gerald felt some mild chest discomfort, but brushed it off and went to bed. A few hours later, Gerald woke up coughing heavily and struggling to breathe. What Gerald didn't realize was that some stomach acid from his dinner had silently entered his airway, causing lung irritation. Later, his doctor diagnosed him with aspiration-related lung issues. By adjusting his evening eating habits, Gerald was able to reduce his risk of further complications. The best way to reduce these risks is to manage your mealtime wisely. Finish your final meal at least 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. This gives your body enough time to digest food before you lie down. If you often feel hungry before bedtime, choose foods that are gentle on the stomach, such as bananas, yogurt, or a small handful of nuts instead of a full meal. Using an adjustable bed, extra pillows, or specially designed wedge pillows can help prevent stomach acid from flowing back into the esophagus. Limit fatty, fried, or heavily spiced foods, as they can increase acid production and worsen reflux symptoms. By making these small adjustments to your evening routine, you can reduce the risk of heartburn, acid reflux, and dangerous respiratory issues like aspiration pneumonia. These changes won't just improve your sleep, they'll also protect your heart, lungs, and overall health. Comment number 6. If you're confident you already maintain a healthy dinner routine. Or comment number 7 if you think it's time for a change. As we wrap up this video, I'd like you to take a moment to reflect on the 5 nighttime habits we've discussed. While some of these habits may seem harmless, like getting out of bed too quickly or snacking before bedtime, they can quietly increase your risk of developing serious health issues over time. The good news is that by making just a few small tweaks to your nighttime routine, you can protect your heart, improve your sleep, and reduce your risk of unexpected medical emergencies. And the best part, these changes are simple, easy to implement, and can make a huge difference to your long-term health. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Out of these 5 habits, which one surprised you the most? Have you ever experienced any nighttime health issues before? Your story is important, and by sharing your experience, you may help others who are facing similar challenges without realizing the risks.